Sit and look pretty instead of doing actual work? Okay. First time poster in this sub. I was told this belongs here. Sorry for the length. For the sake of clarity, I'm going to say I work in an industry which is similar to warehousing. Same logic in the grand scheme of things. In my branch, and several surrounding branches, there are only 2 staff members to keep the place running, so we all have casual uniforms. Just a polo shirt and appropriate pants and footwear. I mainly do administration work and have a team member who works in the back end of things. But I'm capable and willing to jump outside when required of me. Examples of me needing to work in the back would be if we have a huge rush, or if I need to send my teammate to help at another branch or out on the road to collect stock and I have to fill in for him while he's gone. It's a pretty good setup because working outside really breaks up the monotony of being stuck at a desk all day, and it's easy enough to do both parts of the job when I need to. Some genius in head office decided he wanted to change the uniform for any and all admin staff to something a little more corporate and dressy. I can only describe this uniform as a 3-piece suit made with the heaviest fabrics known to man. Suddenly I've gone from wearing a polo shirt, which is comfortable and easy to move around in, to wearing a white long-sleeved business shirt with a vest, jacket and neckerchief, complete with a skirt, stockings and a slight heel. I straight up look like a flight attendant working in an industrial warehouse, and can barely lift my arms high enough to hold my steering wheel on the drive to work. It was a poorly designed uniform and I was so incredibly uncomfortable wearing it. I was very quick to voice my anger. I first mentioned how it is unfair, borderline cruel, to expect staff to wear such a thick and layered uniform when we live in Australia, particularly in a place known for our consistent high temperatures and harsh sun. I then asked how I would be expected to leave the desk to operate machinery and do heavy lifting in a suit, skirt and heels. I was met with the promise that anyone working in admin and wearing a corporate uniform would not have to leave their desk to do any back-end work at all. I raised another concern, stating that we did not have enough staff for them to make this particular promise and still maintain our quality of work and hit our deadlines, and was met with a strong guarantee that I would not have to do any physical work in my day-to-day operations. I was all but ordered to sit at the desk to look appealing for clients and never move from there. Okay then, no problem. From that point onwards, I followed their instructions. I never left my desk. There would suddenly be long wait times for orders and fulfillments, because my team member was on the road on a job and there was no one on site to continue his work until he got back. If my team member called in sick, I would spend the day pushing back deadlines with clients, which affected our targets and our reputation. Funnily enough, my teammate only started getting sick because I had to have the office aircon on freezing temperatures so I wouldn't get heat stroke at my desk. I was honest with clients who had complaints, and explained that I would usually step in to help to make sure their needs were met, but was specifically instructed not to anymore, and then redirected their complaints through to customer service in head office. After a few months of this, I was invited to a meeting with 3 of my direct managers and a HR representative. They were clearly upset about the drop in productivity and amount of complaints we were receiving. I let them all say their piece before reminding them I raised these concerns to them months ago, and was merely following instruction given to me, which were abundantly clear that I was to take care of admin work at my desk and do nothing else. I let them know my hands were tied, so all I could do was look pretty and placate clients when we inevitably couldn't meet their needs. As promised, I suggested hiring more warehousing staff to fill in the gaps left by the admin staff who were now chained to their desk by their uniform and unable to ease the pressure of the workload like we used to do. I could see that comment definitely hit them right where I wanted it to, and they couldn't argue with me for following their instructions. So I was told they would get back to me on a solution moving forward. Well, here I am at work 2 weeks later, typing this post while wearing my old polo shirt uniform. I was fully prepared to find another job if their solution wasn't reasonable. And maybe I still will look to leave this place. But I'll take the win for now. Take this story, redo it in a positive light and put it on your resume. Successfully lead efforts to improve safety, quality and customer satisfaction by working with senior leadership to mitigate gaps I identified in daily operations. So close to where I worked. My uniform was polo shirt, jeans, steel cap boots in the office. All we had to do was throw on a high-vis vest and head out the back door if needed to help out. Head office introduced a corporate uniform, but luckily were smart enough not to apply it to anyone who worked at the warehouse sites. Is it too obvious to guess that head office was in a southern state with a climate much cooler than yours? Been there, and we got a no ties in QLD rule implemented. Maybe we'll still look? You work for stupid people. Can't hurt to see what's out there. Seems like you're doing two people's job and your pay should reflect such. Ooh, this is gold. I can just imagine the cheap-ass poly blend poorly tailored monstrosity they made you wear too. Bulk ordered in only YWO sizes. Too large or too small. With the company logo on it. So you can't wear it anywhere else. In that navy blue color that instantly looks dusty and faded as soon as you wash it. Just make sure they didn't take the cost out of your paycheck. I once had a mangler try to tell me I had to wear a suit, etc., when filling in for my supervisor. After arguing, and him telling me outright this was happening, I conceded, and then locked the pair of us outside, in the 45 degrees Celsius sun, and then told him in very Australian language that he had to keep his jacket on, because that was what he was trying to make me do. He agreed that I would continue to wear shorts and short sleeves before I let him back into the air-conditioned office. There are some naive people who would have done the opposite and tried to power through the obstacles put in place by management, and they usually burn out trying to work with stupid rules in place of giving the higher-ups exactly what they asked for. It's hard to argue with an "I told you so" when it's accompanied with an "I literally begged you not to make me do this." Well done. Who in Australia doesn't understand the need for light, comfy attire? I'm not from there, and I think even I might have grasped the idea. Classic example of the ever-prevalent problem with corporations today of not hiring enough people because they see them as operating costs to minimize instead of appreciating the value they bring. I remember when I worked at a Macy's store, it was common for them to only have one person staffed for the entirety of the women's sections combined, which stretched from one end of the store to the other. I would literally see people leave and drop a pile of clothes somewhere because there wasn't anybody to check them out, let alone help them pick out clothing. Similarly, the entire second floor was sometimes only staffed by one person. Sweet. I would bet that you can earn at least 20% more somewhere else. You go, girl. They did this at my work, but with a funny twist. It was a public library, so now we had to wear the council uniform. Council recognized that their workforce is varied. I will give them that. Librarians were frontline services equals button shirts, slacks, etc. I was a shelver, which was classified as manual labor. So I wore the same uniform as the gardeners and garbage collectors. It was just a Poyo shirt. But I loved telling people I worked in a library dressed like a garbage collector. Rolling on the floor laughing. Oof. 3-piece wool suit in Australia? PH'd. I wear shorts in the winter. Albeit I don't live in a cold climate either. 3 direct managers? Why so many? Sounds good, op. Too bad your new work outfits didn't include a pay raise for all the additional work you are in. Have been doing. This would have been a prime opportunity to get paid more for doing more. I love this. That is a well played, I told you so. This is the first Reddit post I've actually read straight from Reddit and haven't had read to me on YouTube or Spotify. And I must say I am not disappointed.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.